young woman being abused. She wanted to leave, but she had to refuse. Forced to stay, she found no home. Fear gripped her soul, just wouldn't let go. Afraid of what would happen if she
Praise the Lord. So
told.
glad you tuned into a great God. We're back here again, and well, I'm hoping all things is well with you from the last time we were together. I have a wonderful guest with me today. Her name is Kimberly C. Thomas.
How
I'm
are
glad you came.
Great, me too.
Praise God. She's a wonderful woman of God. She got the heart of God. You know, when you say you got to have the heart of God, you know, a humble heart. And I'm going to let her tell you about herself, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her. And, you know, when I read her bio, I thought it was really exciting, you know. It shows that she has a master's degree and she has a bachelor's in psychology. She went to St. Francis College, you know, and the most impressive thing that impressed me was her organization called WOW, which is Woman of Wisdom. And I'm so glad you came.
I'm so glad to be here.
You know, your bio mentioned something that I really didn't understand, but I want you to explain to me after you introduce yourself to the congregation there.
Okay, my name is Kimberly Thomas. I am from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm the CEO and founder of Women of Wisdom. It's based out of Brooklyn. I go to the Disciples of Jesus Christ of Nazareth Church in Brooklyn on Shepherd Avenue, 341 Shepherd Avenue.
Okay.
And my pastor is Apostle Curtis Magazine, where I learned so much from his teaching. However, WOW came from God and my experiences, and also my mother's experiences, and coming from an abusive household where my father was an abuser. I've always been led to help people. I'm an educator and a mentor, and I feel that there are a lot of little girls that are crying out, but those little girls become women. And unfortunately, some of the problems that the little girls face are not being taken care of. And then they go into womanhood with these problems, and they don't know how to solve their problems. Although they go to church, although they go to wherever their faith is, but they go to church and they still leave broken.
Yeah.
And they're not being catered to. So WOW is an organization that promotes real FaceTime. You know, we keep going to the computers and going to our phones, and we want to text, and we want to, you know, post. Unfortunately, sometimes we post things we shouldn't post. Our anger, the injustice of relationships that we might be in. And sometimes you need to pick up the phone and call your elder. And some people don't have a mom to call.
But sometimes the elder is just kind of more messed up than they are.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to know who you can trust, who you really can trust.
Yes, you do.
And you'll know them by the Spirit.
Yes, you do.
You know, they won't judge, but they'll try to help you. They'll try to teach you what the words say to do to get you out of that situation.
Absolutely.
But tell us how you, at the age of 3, how did you see your dad? What was he like? What was the relationship like? Because there's a lot of young ladies out here that's being abused, and they scared to tell it. Like I wrote a song called "Don't Let the Enemy Win."
Okay.
My friend was being abused by her husband.
Yes.
And it's sad that it took jail and death in order for her to get away from him when she could have ran.
Yeah.
I thought she could have ran, but the fear was so great. Tell us about that, your mom.
You know, sometimes people can be in mental bondage. You know, we have to be careful of who we allow to get into our mind. You know, we might not be tied up with our hands and feet, but in your mind, you can believe that you really can't get away,
Right.
depending on what people are saying and brainwashing you and making you feel that you're a failure. So, you know, the relationship with my father was very short. Fortunately, I had a mother that didn't stay long.
Okay.
You know, I was blessed for her to be able to listen to the voice of God.
Okay.
And to believe that she can get away. My father and my mom were married very young. They had 2 little children back to back. My brother and I were only 11 months apart.
Wow.
And my father was abusive, physically and mentally. There was a time when I saw my father actually abusing my mom. And my mom told me and my brother, you guys just go upstairs, go upstairs. My father was getting a little aggressive. And he pulled her into a church van, and I can hear him beating her in the church van.
My God.
But by the time she got upstairs to her, you know, I saw her face, and it was covered in blood. And, you know, my brother, we're little. I'm 3, he's 4, running around getting toilet paper, trying to tap her face dry, you know, trying to help her. But, you know, I thank God for touching her heart and for her being obedient.
Okay.
You know, it's very important to listen to the voice of God and be obedient.
Yes.
And she found a way of escape. You know, unfortunately, you know, we had to stay back a little while for her to get herself together, not really with my father, but with some other people. But my mother came and she retrieved her children.
Okay. All right.
And the journey went on from there.
You know, I always say that God has a plan.
Yes, he does.
And sometimes you have to go through a little rain, a little storm in order to get to the sunshine.
Yes, you do.
And it's a blessing because we're being taught. But now you don't lay in it.
No, you don't have to.
You get up and move.
That's right.
You know, because God got a plan for you because somebody else is going to come that same way.
Yes, they are.
And, you know, not just women are being abused. Some men are being abused.
Yes, they are.
And their abuse may be not knowing who their dad is or not knowing how to be a man. And not knowing that men do cry.
Yes.
You know, they have feelings and not being taught what love is all about. And I think that's the biggest problem with all of us. We women are not being taught what love really is. We think it's the sex.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And we think he loves us because we're giving our body to him. But what about my mind?
Yep.
When you gonna love my mind?
That's right.
You know, when are we gonna come on one? You know, that's the mistake about relationships. You have to have one mind.
Yes, you do.
He have to be able to finish your sentences, and you have to be able to finish his.
Absolutely.
That's becoming on one mind. That's showing love. So you hurt when he hurt, she hurt when you know, vice versa. But we just thank God for you coming. I want to get into, you know, this abuse because a lot of people are being abused and they're going into foster homes, the children, and the children are experiencing other children that they seen their parents being abused and they're going to take it out on them.
Yes, they have.
And, you know, it becomes a one-way battle.
Yeah, it's a constant cycle.
Exactly.
We need to break the cycle and break the chain. You know, you have a man that's being abused. He gets in a relationship. He might abuse her. You have a woman that's being abused. She can also abuse a man. She can abuse him mentally.
Yes.
Okay, and make him feel like this is it. This is nobody else is going to want you. I'm the only person out here. So we have to be careful with. We have to get mental help.
Right.
We're lacking that in our. You know.
We have to know that we have low self-esteem. We got to pull our esteem up.
Yes.
Because he made you wonderfully and fearfully made.
Yes, you are.
He made you. He didn't make you to be kicked around.
That's right.
He made you to be loved and to know that he is God.
That's
and
right.
There's no other God before him. So you can't put that man before God.
That's right.
You know, and when you put that man before God, he becomes God and he won't tear you up because he feels that you don't keep the house clean as he want it clean.
That's right.
Or you're not feeding him what he wants you to feed him. You're not fixing 3 different meals for each other, you know?
That's right.
We got to learn who we are.
Yes, we do. And that's also another issue. We try to, you know, when you do come around to the sessions, but the issue from my heart is that it's very important to know yourself. You know, after years ago, you know, when I had my 2 children, and I was divorced, and I had to get to know Kimberly.
There you go.
I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
You know, I just knew I had to raise these children. I was a little upset about that.
I think we all.
You know, we were like, I didn't
because
expect to do this alone.
Child, it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
They say daddy's baby, mama's baby, daddy
Daddy's
maybe,
baby.
because he gonna run take care of somebody else's, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. That's yours. How can you not? And the Bible say you're an infidel.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take care of yours, but you can take care of somebody else's. That's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the woman that you claim you love, that you gave your last name to. That
That's
means
right.
something.
That's right.
That mean, and in other words, you should have been there to help her raise these children.
Yes.
You know,
She
a family is father and mother, not just mommy. You know, and
That's
especially
right.
if you have a boy, you're supposed to be there to teach that boy how to play ball, or how to love a woman, how to know how to choose a woman. But if you don't know,
How can you?
but you can search it out.
Yes, you can.
Because the Bible have everything. You want to know how to find a good, decent woman? Look at the book of Ruth. Look at the continents. Look at that continents. And this is what I tell my grandson.
That's right.
Read the book of Ruth and get the continents.
And she was so humble.
I'm so humble.
And
when
she-
you
that's
find a
right.
person like
She
that.
was so humble, just gleaning out there and doing her job.
Doing her and loving her husband.
And that was attractive to him,
Yeah.
you know?
Look at Abigail. God said that she was a good conscience, and she married a brutish man. Yeah, he wasn't no good, but she loved that. Why do the opposites attract?
All the time.
Yeah, we
right?
like them bad boys. Sometimes we feel we can change them, but no, we can't.
No, we
you
can't.
know,
They become
but-
a project,
Right.
and you shouldn't have
Right.
to work so hard. You can't. I think that's another issue. We try to be their moms. You can't be their mom and their wives. You can't. It's not going to work for you.
He said you leave your mother and father and you cleave to your wife. But if you don't know how, you got to ask somebody.
That's right.
Get on your knees and pray, because a lot of men just really don't know.
Yeah.
But we are wonderfully made, as
Yes,
I
we
said,
are.
and I know God loves us just like He loves the man. And I want to go into a scripture, praise God.
Okay.
But before I go into this scripture, my thought is going to be a one-way battle. We can't hit back because He's stronger than us. So the battle is in His mind, and it's one way. He's not. His communication is not there because He feels that you don't understand Him.
Okay.
He didn't even give you a chance to understand Him by talking to you. A lot of relationships, communication is not there.
That's the issue.
And if we just talk about the problem, maybe I can kind of help you get through yours, and you can help me get through mine, and we can come on one accord.
That's right.
But I don't know. It's just something that I'm a man, you know.
And there's a breakdown in communication. You know, we just assume that we know what people are feeling and what people are thinking, and we don't communicate. And unfortunately, you know, years ago there was just lack of communication. I work, I come home, I do this, I do that. There wasn't really too much of how was your day. You have to be taught how to communicate.
How to communicate.
And when you think it's normal to not talk, what happens is you become an introvert, or you tend to hold things in, and you hold your feelings in, and you shut down. Whereas later on, if you talk, then you would say, I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't even know that part of the story.
Yeah, maybe we could have got it together.
Yes. You know, so it's very important to communicate in all relationships.
And on every subject.
On every subject.
Never be ashamed to talk to your kids about sex.
That's
about
right.
when they at a certain age, about men, about women. Never be afraid. Don't let the street teach them.
Well,
you teach them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, you know, when we say talk to your children about sex, we have YouTube, we have Google, we have the internet, we have cyberspace. They're teaching our kids way, way sooner than they should be teaching them.
Exactly.
And now, because of that, when your children come to you and they have a question, you have to be prepared now. They could come to you at the age of 7 now. They don't have to wait till they're 12 going through puberty. They don't have to wait. They can come to me and say, I saw such and such because they touched the wrong button or because they saw something someone else was looking at. So you got to just prepare their minds and pray for your children.
It's the way you answer them.
Yes.
And you got to answer them with the word.
Yes, you do.
You know, a lot of, I hear somebody say, everything is not the word, but everything is the word. Because that's what's teaching us how to live. And like I said, that's a one-way battle. A lot of us have a one-way battle. And a battle usually means a hostile encounter, because I was looking it up, or engagement between opposing military forces, or it could mean any conflict or struggle. Also, a battle can be portrayed as being a one-way.
Wow.
The only opposer is yourself. Isn't that something?
Isn't it something?
And we wake up, and like you said, you were angry. You're not the only one. A lot of us, I was angry. I had to raise 4 by myself.
See?
Then I'm telling them, well, your daddy sent you this, and I know he ain't sent them nothing. The daddy sent you that, but I didn't want them to hate him.
Yes.
Because that is their dad.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't bring no other men around them. If I went out, I ain't say I was an angel now, but I said I didn't bring nothing around my kids.
Right.
They had
and
their
that's another, that's very important. You respected your children and your home.
Right. And I respected myself.
That's right.
So anything I did, they didn't know.
That's right.
And I left it like that.
That's right.
Now, there may be a battle of the mind causing frustration, which we just spoke about, making you hurt the ones you love. And that's the abuser right there.
Yes.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against wicked spirits in high places, and against the darkness of this world.
That's right.
You know, so he's letting us know that it's the spirit of the man.
That's right.
What did he take in when he was younger? What did he see? Who taught him the things that he, you know, who taught him how to ease his aggression?
Or didn't teach you.
You got him. You know, how can we turn it around?
That's right.
And it's got to be, we drawn them with bands of love. But we got to be able to deal with it.
Yes, you do. You got to love them, but you have
love
to.
them, but you can't let them step on
No,
you.
you can't.
You got to let them know that you're an individual too.
That's right.
With a mind. You just can't close your mouth and become introverted because he's angry. You know, I remember a time, praise God, my husband, when we first got married, somebody told him that he ought to go upside my head and bring me under subjection.
Really?
Thank God for Jesus. I wasn't saved as I was saved now. So what I did, and when I came home, he had shot up the house and everything. And when I came home, I sat by the door. I got the hammer out. I got the ice pick. I got all this.
Ready.
I
You got
was
your
ready,
weapons.
baby. I was right by the door. He knew he better not come through that door there.
That's
but,
right.
But I must was crazy. He the one with the gun. I ain't had no gun.
No, you was ready to
But,
defend yourself.
oh, my goodness. I tell you, you cannot listen to other people. I know your father didn't teach you. Your mother died when you was young. But you cannot listen to the street telling you how to deal with your wife.
That's right. That's right.
You deal with it in love.
Because they'll mislead you.
They'll miss.
And people don't want to see people
He didn't
have
want
a,
no lump on his
home.
head.
That's
You know?
right. That's
so
right.
we have to understand. But I thank God that he fixed it where I outgrew that anger.
Good.
You know, we stayed together for a while, and then he left, and then we were separated for like 21 years.
Wow. Oh my God.
God sent him back. Now, see, I made a vow to him. I didn't make a vow to anybody else.
Okay. Understood.
So, and that was in the eyesight of God. So I made that vow. I took him back after 21 years. He got saved, and we could talk the word.
Okay.
And he knew me.
And that makes a difference.
That made the difference.
A big difference.
Now, if he come back and he's shucking and jiving like he was,
You
then,
don't
you know,
want that.
it would. But
No.
God wasn't going to send him back like that.
No. He had to give him an operation.
Exactly.
He had to be operated on.
Even my son, because he had put my son on crack, right? And even my son, he God dealt with him and got him together.
Wonderful.
But when I took my husband back, they called me and said, "You better come home because he's throwing his clothes out." He felt that if I can send him to get his life together, and he did him like that, why am I taking my husband back?
Yeah.
So I had to explain to him.
Yeah.
I made a vow to him, God, for him, not for you.
Okay.
I'm your mother, I love you, and I do anything to help you. But it takes a made-up mind.
Yes, it
You
does.
made up your mind. I sent you through all these drug rehabs.
That's right.
The last time he came back, I heard him in the room say, my son, heard him in the room say, it don't even talk to me anymore when I read the word of God. It don't, but he said the book of Solomon, I think it was. And I said,
You see?
this time it worked.
That's right.
You know, God.
That's why you got to keep
listen,
praying.
I'm fasting and praying. If
That's
I can
right.
fast and pray.
That's right.
And we can't be enablers.
We can.
We can't
can
be. Even
because
with our husbands.
that's right. It's a very you can get caught up in enabling someone, and then this person is you're breeding a monster.
And that's what we're doing when we
Yes.
allow our husbands to beat us up.
And when we beat people up,
And when we
beat people up, or they beat us up, or mentally that mental abuse, you just that's why you have to stand. You have to stand for yourself.
Come on, come on.
You have to stand. You have to. You. It's not like you're trying to hurt anybody, but you got to let people know there's a limit. You can't cross this limit because you're hurting me.
Right. And I'm an individual
That's
just
right.
like you are.
That's right.
You chose to love me, honor, and obey. I chose to honor and obey. So we got to honor and obey each other.
And God said, guard your heart.
Guard your heart.
For
And
it's
that's
the wellspring of life. So when a person is coming to you and they're hurting you, they're hurting your heart.
They're hurting your heart.
So
That's
you
right.
have to protect it.
There you go.
And unfortunately, a lot of people are passing because of bad health, because of stress.
And broken hearts.
And broken hearts. Just broken hearts because they've allowed somebody to dictate constantly their, manage their heart and pull on their heartstrings.
And they didn't love themselves enough
you
to stand
have to
up.
love yourself.
It's just like with this scripture. Let's turn to Judges, the 19th chapter.
Okay.
Because it seemed like, good girls get bad men and bad men get good girls. But this particular person, he got him a concubine or a wife. He married a wife. And the first verse says, and it came to pass in those days when there were no king. Now that's the key in Israel.
Okay.
Mean no king, no judge.
Okay.
There's no one to correct anything.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
right.
no order to go before. And that there was a certain Levi sojourning on the side of Ephraim, who took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there for 4 months, 4 long months.
Yes, she was.
What could he be thinking of to go back and get a woman after he done been there 4 long months, and knowing that really in the law of God, a woman commits suicide, whorism, they stone her.
Yes, they can.
Okay. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her and to bring her again, having his servants with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. When the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced. All right, he rejoiced. She didn't rejoice, but he rejoiced. Right, okay?
She going
so
out here.
one thing here, we don't even know if he really forgave her.
No, we don't.
Why did he go back and get her? It makes us think, is he playing a game? But the rest of the story going to tell the story.
Yeah. That was my first intentions. That's what I thought. This is, when you say speak friendly unto her, we do have that a lot. But the intent of the heart, what are the intentions, like you're saying?
Out of the heart flows the issue of life. So, what's in him is going to come out of him.
Yes, it is.
And then we go on down to the 20th verse.
Okay.
And it said, and the old man said, peace be with thee. Because see, now they're traveling back to Bethlehem, Judah. Going home. He left the father's house and he's taking her home. And howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street. Lodge not in the street. And nevertheless, we, what's happening here is this man has taken them in.
Yes.
And being where they were, certain men in the area were evil.
Yes.
And they wanted to know him, not her.
Yes, they did.
But that was also a one-way battle because he threw his concubine out, his wife out there.
Yeah, he gave them her
instead of himself.
Yes.
So we don't really know what was going up in this man's mind. But you know what? I want you to encourage my um, congregation on abuse and how you've seen people overcome it.
Okay. Many women have overcome abuse. And if you're out there and you're being abused, you need to pray and you need to ask God how to get out of it. My mother always said, don't run. Ease your hand out of the lion's mouth, which means that you have to make a plan. You have to seek counsel, depending on the type of abuse. If it's physical abuse and your children are watching you being abused, even if they're not watching you be abused, you don't have to stay and be abused and hit on and beat on. If it's mental abuse, you have to communicate.
Yes.
And you have to tell the person that's abusing you, don't talk to me this way.
Right.
Don't say that to me. I don't like it. You have to stand for what you believe in, and you have to protect yourself and protect your mental.
Come on now.
And it's very important that you read the word, you find a very safe place to go to, and don't tell everybody your business.
Come on. That's right.
It's very important that you ask God to bring certain people into your life so they can nurture you and cautiously coach you into deliverance.
Amen.
And you have to be delivered. Even after you leave, what usually happens is you still need counseling because sometimes we take on this anger or we take on bitterness. And now you can say, okay, it's over, I'm done. But you develop PTSD, you become paranoid, you don't trust people. Or you get into another abusive relationship. So that's why we need to seek counseling. And I think the church folks have an issue with that. We need to, the church folks need to know that mental health is very important.
There you go. And it really is.
It's very important.
Really
There's
is.
nothing wrong with getting counseling. There's nothing wrong with getting psychiatric help. At the same time, God said faith without works is dead. You are supposed to have faith, but you're supposed to work so he can work in your favor.
And you're right. And I'd like to say to you today, be encouraged. I know you've learned something from Kimberly C. Thomas, and we thank God for you. Listen, you don't have to be abused. Just lean and hold to the master's hand. Get the word of God. Pray. Ask God to do something for your mind, that you'll make the right decisions.
That's right.
Oh, be encouraged. May God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. Speak peace unto your spirit. God bless you. Hold on.
There was a young woman being abused. She wanted to leave, but she had to refuse. Forced to stay, she found no home. Fear gripped her soul, just wouldn't let go. Afraid of what would happen if she told, only to find life passing her by. She cried, who can deliver me from this pain that ties my soul to fear and shame?